What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Latrina, and I am back again today with another tarot spread read. And it looks like starting right off in our first row, we do have the Ten of Cups as well as the Ten of Swords, both coming out in that same very row. And then we also have the reversed marriage card in the reverse, which does speak of a breakup. And then, with these two tens, that does speak of the end of a situation. And it may be regarding this marriage. And it also gives another card that says no one can paddle two canoes at the same time. And it says play. So it looks like we're dealing with a situation here where, there was an attempt to ruin someone, with these two tens in the reverse. And that Ten of Swords, when it depicts a picture in the traditional tarot of an individual being stabbed in their back with 10 knives, and they're laying flat on the floor, as if they're unresponsive on the floor. And then with this Ten of Cups, this speaks of the family. That is the card of the family, and that is in the reverse as well. So there has been a complete end to a situation, and it may be a marriage. That may be speaking of a separation or a divorce or just a breakup. And it looks like also that with that canoe card coming out, speaking of someone, it says no one can paddle two canoes at the same time. So that lets me know that there was some levels and aspects of control that was regarding this, split. Also, maybe there was a player, because we do got the play card coming out in that first row as well. And then there's two canoes. That speaks of multiple, boats. So if you are a individual that's trying to control two boats, that may be representing two families, trying to maintain two households or two families at once. It says no one can do that. That's what that card says. No one can control two canoes at the same time. And then with this Ten of Cups coming out, speaking of a family situation, there was a complete end to that, and I don't know, sometimes it can even be leading up to death, that complete end. And then moving on to our second row, we have the Page of Pentacles and the Three of Wands coming out on top of that. And this page, it speaks of the spell work, because we got it coming out right with the spell work card that backfired, because we do got the Three of Wands that comes out in the reverse, which shows you that there was some spell work activity going on, and it did backfire. It was not of null effect. There were some things that was put together and crafted, over the limit. These things that was done, something that has been found, because we do got the lost card coming out in the reverse, which tells me something that's opposite to lost is found. Something was found out about this cloth that was woven. This is that cloth card coming out again. And it was done over something, maybe it was found because it was done over the legal limit. Somebody did something over the legal limit. And maybe it was this spell work. Maybe this has to do with the laws of the universe, or some kind of cosmic law when it comes to any type of incantation or any type of spell. That's just even boiling right down to the very speech that you speak out your mouth. There's always protection codes, trip codes. There's things that are in order. They must be done in order. And these actions may have been pursued by a wealthy man regarding this spell work with this Page of Pentacles and this Three of Wands coming out. There was a backfire to both of these attempts with this page, whoever this page was that attempted to weave this cloth, and then this Three of Wands. It shows a large coven, or like a group of people that are down there, you know, doing spell work. I don't know if it's a fire pot they got or what kind of a cauldron that they're working on down there, but it's got some spells casted inside of it. This card has come out before. It comes out quite a bit, actually, from what I mean. And that page also speaks of spell work. And it is regarding a wealthy man. So that's a backfire. This whole second row is a backfire because those two cards did come out in the reverse to whatever cloth that they wove. They wove it strategically, weaving a cloth, And then in the third row, we have the Nine of Sword and the Ten of Sword again. So this will be the second time seeing this Ten of Sword come out. And it has a message of health and wellness. The Ten of Sword, and then it has the health and wellness in the reverse. This Ten of Sword is in the reverse. So this was a second attempt at, completely bringing somebody or something to an end. And if it's regarding spell work, then that's a second attempt, It may as well be a third because you got the page, you got this 3, and then this is like 4, 5, or 6 attempts to bring somebody to a complete end. And it's caused someone to be all trapped in their head, maybe having nightmares, I don't know, or maybe not having them, because this is the Nine of Swords, and this, depicts a man that he can't recognize himself. He doesn't believe what he's seeing in the mirror. But in the reverse, that may speak of someone, an individual that is a shapeshifter, someone that is an intentional, masquerade. He's just a masquerade. He's a player, trying to juggle two canoes, trying to row two canoes at the same time. And it says many lose when they win, others win when they lose. Now, I did get this in the reverse. So there was no winners on this insurance plot. No insurance. There was no insurance on this attempt to completely end somebody's health and wellness, possibly for some kind of insurance. This was the game. They got this chessboard out here with chess moves and chess pieces on it. But it did come out in the reverse. So that attempt that was made on someone, to completely end someone. And then it has the community in the reverse as well, on that same third row. The community card did come out in the reverse, as well as the Nine of Swords. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to keep reading because it speaks of, cloth being, woven. Takes more than one string to weave a cloth. And then this spell work backfire. And then these attempts to completely end someone. And, maybe, with this community card coming out, as well as the Ten of Cups family card coming out, there was a lot of strings attached. A lot of strings attached to this situation that was trying to completely end someone through spell work. And just through the Ten of Swords, whatever that type of backstabbing meant, it could have went to many different levels when you got 10 swords in your back like that. And then when you got the community in the reverse, and then you also have the family card in the reverse. So, I don't know, how to put this into words, but there's definitely been an end to things. Because I know I've seen this 10 come out 3 times. You got the 10 of cups, the 10 of swords in this first row, and then you got another 10 over here in this third row. And it's all in the reverse. So whatever type of shape shifting, whatever type of activities that was being done, they didn't really get it accomplished. Nothing was accomplished through any of these spells or any of this activity, from this family and from this community. And in turn, they just really can't even picture themselves anymore. This did come out in the reverse. And that kind of just tells me, the best interpretation that I have for that in the reverse is it's some kind of a shapeshifter. Somebody that's able to put on many and any different faces, as needed. You got this player card coming out in the first row. And then you also have this chess player here. It says many lose when they win and others win when they lose. And there's no insurance. But this card came out in the reverse. So that lets me know that, maybe there was an insurance, maybe it was put on somebody's health and wellness. Because on this Ten of Swords, it has a health and wellness message on it. Trying to completely end somebody's health and wellness. That's what this Ten of Swords is here. And it had a lot to do with the community and maybe some type of insurance scam. This community was in the reverse, which means they probably was involved in this type of insurance scheme that was going on. That, it had something to do with this wealthy man, and then a marriage contract that did come to an end. We seen that in the very first row, an ending. And then we coming along in this fourth row, we got the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, which does speak of letting go of something being just let go of, because in the upright it's someone's holding on to something very, very tightly. But it says teachers open the door. You enter by yourself. And this, let me see what it tells me. High honor. So someone, was given access or gained entrance to maybe to high honor, because we have the high honor coming out in that fourth row on the very last card in the fourth row. And so by we having the high honor card up here and this teachers, I spoke about that group leader and that teacher situation, It says you enter it by yourself. So someone, entered a door. I don't know about this door that they entered, but by themselves, I don't know. And then it has the Page of Cups coming out, which is it's a messenger. I'm not sure what the message is about. Maybe it's about something that was let go of, or, something about this teacher. And in that last row, we got the Queen of Wands in the reverse coming out. Queen of Wands in the reverse. And we've been seeing her through this whole entire storyline. She's a main character. She did the reverse. And she's got the two of Wands coming out with her. And then we also have a card that says maybe somebody wanted a commitment. It says the show must go on in the reverse. So that means that something is definitely over. and it's regarding this house also. Something's definitely over regarding this house. And there was some plans, you know, that went into motion. There's some plans that went into motion that were, you know, discussed and, you know, worked upon. It looks like by two gentlemen had something to do with the plans regarding this house. And maybe even this Queen of Wands had some type of, you know, maybe she had some type of say in this matter. Something had to be let go. Something came to a complete end, and it was regarding a community, a family, and a wealthy man.